Monday. Dad's really mad that he had to drive 4 hours round trip to come get me. But Mom wasn't mad at all. She said the incident between me and Riley was just horseplay, and she was glad we were pals again. But Dad is still mad, and it's been really chilly between us ever since we got back. Mom's been trying to get the two of us to do something like go to the movies together so we can make peace. But I think right now it's best for me and Dad to just stay out of each other's way. I think Dad's bad mood is here to stay, though, and part of it has nothing to do with me. When I opened up today's paper, here's what I saw in the arts section. Arts, beloved comic to continue. Last night, Dad came into my room and talked to me, which was the first time we spoke to each other in about 3 days. He said he wanted to make sure I was around on Sunday, and I said I would be. Later on, I heard him talking to someone on the phone, and he seemed to be acting kind of secretive. Yes, and I'll leave him with enough food and water for a week. After that, I asked Dad if he was taking me anywhere in particular on Sunday, and that seemed to make him really uncomfortable. He said no, but he wouldn't look me in the eye. Now, I knew Dad wasn't telling the truth, so I started to get kind of worried. Dad was willing to ship me off to military academy before, and I wouldn't put anything past him. I didn't know what to do, so I told Roderick what was going on and asked him if he had any theories about what Dad was up to. He told me he'd think about it, and a little while later he came up to my room and shut the door. Roderick told me that Dad was so mad about the rally thing that he was going to get rid of me. I wasn't sure if I believed him because Roderick's not always 100% reliable, but Roderick told me if I didn't believe him, I should go check out Dad's day planner and see for myself. So I went into Dad's office and opened his calendar to Sunday, and here's what I found. Sell Greg. I'm pretty sure Roderick was pulling my leg because it looked an awful lot like his handwriting. But Dad's kind of an unpredictable guy, so I guess I'll just have to wait until Sunday to know for sure. Sunday. The good news is Dad didn't sell me or give me away to an orphanage today. The bad news is, after what happened, he probably will. At about 10 this morning, Dad said to get in the car because he wanted to take me into the city. When I asked for what, he said it was a surprise. On the way into the city, we stopped for gas. Dad had left a map and directions on the dashboard of the car, so now I knew where we were going, 1200 Bayside Street. Well, I was pretty desperate for the last time. So for the first time ever, I used my ladybug. I finished my call right before Dad came back to the car, and we headed into the city. I just wish I took a better look at that map, because when we pulled up to Bayside Street, I realized it was the parking lot for a baseball stadium. But by then, it was too late. It turns out Mom had bought us tickets to the baseball game for some special father-son bonding, and Dad was trying to keep it a surprise. But it took Dad a long time to explain all of that to the cops. After he cleared things up with the police, Dad wasn't in the mood for a baseball game, so he just took me home. I felt kind of bad because the seats Mom got us were in the third row, and it looked to me like they cost a fortune. Tuesday. I finally found out what that phone call was all about the other day. Dad had been on the phone with Grandma, and they were talking about Sweetie, not me. Mom and Dad had decided to give the dog to Grandma, and Dad dropped Sweetie off on Sunday night. To be honest with you, I don't think anyone's really going to miss him around here. Me and Dad haven't talked to each other since then, and I've been looking for excuses to stay out of the house. I found a really good one yesterday. There was a commercial on TV for this store called the Game Hut, which is where I buy all my video games. They're having a competition where you play at your local store, and if you win, you get to advance to the national playoffs, and the winner of that gets $1 million. The competition at my local store is on Saturday. I'm sure there are going to be a ton of people at that thing, so I'm going to go super early to make sure I get a good place in line. I learned that trick from Roderick. Whenever he wants to get tickets to a concert, he camps out the night before. In fact, that's where he met his band's lead singer, Bill. Can I buy a bum a potato chip? Riley and his dad go camping all the time, so I knew he had a tent. I called Riley and told him about the video game contest and how we could win $1 million. But Riley was acting nervous on the phone. I think he was still worried that I had electrical superpowers or something. and the only way to get him to calm down was to promise I wouldn't use them on him. Even after we were past that, Riley didn't seem comfortable with the camp-out idea. He said his mom and dad banned him from seeing me for the rest of the summer. I pretty much figured that, but I had a plan to get around it. I told Riley that I'd tell my parents I was going up to his house to spend the night, and he could tell his parents he was going to Colin's. Riley still didn't seem sure, so I told him I'd bring him his very own box of gummy bears if he came along, and that sold him. Saturday. Last night we met at the top of the hill at 9. Riley brought the camping equipment in the sleeping bag, and I brought the flashlight and some chocolate energy bars. I didn't have the gummy bears right at that moment, but I promised Riley I'd buy him some the first chance I got. When we got to the game hut, we were the only people there, and I couldn't believe our luck. So we pitched our tent in front of the store before anyone else could take our spot. Then we watched the door to make sure no one tried to cut in front of us. I figured the best way to save our place in line was to sleep in shifts. I even offered to take the first shift and let Riley sleep, because that's the kind of person I am. After my shift was over, woke Riley up for his turn, but he fell back asleep in about 5 minutes. So I shook him awake and told him he needed to stay alert. Riley didn't even bother trying to defend himself. I don't even really like video games. I decided it was up to me to make sure nobody got in front of us, so I stayed up all night. I was starting to have trouble keeping my eyes open around 9 in the morning, and I ate both of the energy bars I packed to keep myself going. I got chocolate all over my hands, and that gave me an idea. I opened the tent flap, then slipped my hand inside and made it crawl like a spider. I thought it would be funny to make Riley think it was the muddy hand. I didn't hear any noises coming from inside the tent, so I thought Riley was still sleeping. But before I had a chance to open the flap and check, my hand got crushed to smithereens. I pulled my hand out of the tent, and my thumb was already starting to turn purple. I was really ticked off at Riley, not because he smashed my hand with a mallet, but because he thought that it could stop the muddy hand. Any fool knows you have to either use fire or acid to stop a muddy hand. All a mallet's going to do is make it angry. I was about to give Riley a piece of my mind, but right then the guy from the game hut came and opened the front door. I tried to ignore the throbbing pain in my thumb and focus on the reason we came here. The game hut guy wanted to know why we had a tent in front of the store, so I told him we were there to compete in the video game contest, but he didn't even know what I was talking about. So I had to show him the poster from the window to get him up to speed. The clerk said the store wasn't really set up for a video game tournament, but since there were only 2 of us, maybe we could just play each other in the back room. I was a little irritated at first, but then I realized all I needed to do to win this tournament was to beat Riley. So the clerk set us up to play a death match in Twisted Wizard. I almost felt sorry for Riley because I'm pretty much an expert at that game. But when we started to play, I realized my thumb was so messed up I couldn't press the buttons on the controller. All I could do was run around in circles while Riley shot me over and over. Yippee! Riley ended up beating me 15-0. The clerk told Riley he won the competition and had a choice. He could either fill out the paperwork to go to the national tournament, or he could get a giant box of chocolate-covered raisins. I'll bet you can guess which one Riley picked. Sunday. You know, I should have stuck with my original plan and stayed inside this summer because all my trouble started the minute I stepped out of the house. I haven't seen Riley since he stole that video game competition from me, and Dad hasn't spoke to me since I almost got him arrested. But I think things started to turn around for me and Dad today. You remember that article about how little Cutie was being passed on from the father to his son? Well, the son's first comment came out in the paper today, and it looks like the new little Cutie is going to be even worse than the original. Daddy, can you make my hiccups hick down? I showed Dad and he agreed with me. Get a load of this. Let me see. That's when I realized things are going to be okay between the 2 of us. Me and Dad might not agree on everything, but at least we agree on the important stuff. I guess some people would say that hating a comic is a pretty flimsy foundation for a relationship, but the truth is me and Dad hate lots of the same things. Me and Dad might not have this one of those close father-son relationships, but that's fine with me. I've learned that there is such a thing as too close. So did you have a good summer? Yeah. I realized vacation was pretty much over when Mom finished up with her photo album today. I flipped through it, and to be honest with you, I don't think it was a very accurate record of our summer. But I guess the person who takes the pictures is the one who gets to tell the story. Best summer ever. The reading is fun. Gang says no to video games. Now Gregory can't stop reading. Gregory plays a game of hide and seek with his summer pal. Just what I wanted. 3 generations of Heffleymen bond over brunch. Roderick says, who needs the beach? A magical 4th of July. Splish splash, Gregory has a blast at the pool. Oops, Mom gets in the picture. Gregory feels cool hanging out with a lifeguard pal. Best friends.